Please welcome back to the show the Chief Scientific Officer over at the Wellness Company, our friend Dr. Peter McCullough. Dr. McCullough, always great to have you on the show. How are you?
Good, thank you.
The McCullough Foundation released a landmark study that shows that vaccination is the leading risk for factors for autism. Talk to us a little bit about the findings and what it means for the medical community.
Remember on the September 22nd of this year, Trump, Robert F. Kennedy, and others had the press briefing on autism. And one of the talking points was 40 to 70% of parents of autistic children believed the autism was potentially linked to childhood vaccinations. And it turns out they're right. The last time this was visited in a formal report was the Institute of Medicine in 2004. The McCullough report, Foundation report, was independently done. It was grant funded. 82% of the information is new information from the Institute of Medicine time frame from 2004 forward. And what we found is that there are susceptibility factors such as premature delivery, older parents, siblings with autism, some in utero exposures like antipsychotics and anti-epileptics and other drugs, not Tylenol, by the way. Tylenol looked like this, doesn't play a role. But the overwhelming factor in susceptible children is getting a big battery of vaccines, and about 79% of the studies now support that concept that as a risk factor. So I think it's a very weighty report. HHS should do their own report, try to replicate it. But right now, it is making the rounds in the news because it's so impactful.
You know, the hair on the back of my neck stands up when you talk about this, Dr. McCullough, because my son was born in 2007, and leading up to him being born, I did a lot of research into this because I read David Kirby's book called Evidence of Harm that came out in the late 90s, and it was about the link in thimerosal, well, of course, mercury, to this as well in these vaccines. And that's what started me on the road to wondering about this and trying to find a physician, and it took my wife and I a long time to do it, that would alter the vaccine schedule at the time to not get so many in such a short period of time, which we ended up finding someone who would. But boy, to think about the decisions we made back then and to hear you talk about that is just, it's one of those moments where you're like, wow, we were right to do it when you think back on that. Why do you think the medical community, though, has had no interest in this for so long?
In many ways, it's been obscured in the medical literature. There's a great fear of what's called vaccine hesitancy, and that some of these diseases could return. But, I don't think that's the case. Mortality and case counts were way down on all these diseases before the vaccines ever came in. 12 studies now show that a healthy child born today, if they take no vaccines whatsoever, they remain healthier than their vaccinated counterparts. So I think, I think there's 4 action items that can come out of this. First, we should rescind the 1986 Vaccine Injury Compensation Act, so no more liability shield for the companies. They'll probably pull a lot of their products off the market right then and there. Number 2, we should ban all forms of vaccine requirements and mandates for school and military and employment. Number 3, I think we should suspend the current vaccine schedule, as you implied, and let it be much more tailored to a joint decision between parents and doctors like you and your wife did. And then the last item is, I think we need to get rid of this direct-to-consumer advertising. Right now, Monday Night Football is on. Hopefully the Cowboys are winning. I just got home from work. I'm going to check in on it. But every commercial is going to be a pharmaceutical commercial. Yeah. And it's got to stop.
Yeah. We're speaking with Dr. Peter McCullough. Of course, he's the Chief Scientific Officer at the Wellness Company. You can go to twc.health/voice today in order, twc.health/voice today in order. The Wellness Company, of course, has been one of the leading voices for exploring alternatives to everything we talk about here, big pharma and medical establishment. Why is it important for consumers, Dr. McCullough, to really search out not only kind of research like I talked about my wife and I did, but alternatives to medicine like this?
Oh, for sure. A big one that's been introduced recently is called MARS, M-A-R-S, all capital letters. It's a natural testosterone booster that really is an alternative to taking testosterone shots. I mean, so many men have, drifting downward testosterone levels. We have multiple proven natural products that each individually boost testosterone level. You put them in a nice combination, it can be problem solved for a lot of men. That's a great example of avoiding a pharmaceutical with a natural product.
And I know last time you were on, as we always seem to find our way into ivermectin, because I think it's that important. Is there any, I know we talked about ivermectin and arthritis, and we talked about obviously some of the cancer, promising cancer research that's being done with ivermectin in addition with other things with it. Any updates on any of those studies that we need to know about?
Well, a new update is on an application. It's actually topical ivermectin for a skin cream. So ivermectin combined with metronidazole and some other natural products is FDA indicated and very effective for rosacea, pustular acne, the type of acne that is pitting. And again, it's an opportunity to deal with serious acne before you get into Accutane and oral drugs. So check out topical ivermectin from the Wellness Company.
All right, very good. Dr. Peter McCullough, Chief Scientific Officer at the Wellness Company. Again, you can go to twc.health/voice today in order. Use promo code VOICE to save an additional 10% on all the wonderful products that they have. Again, twc.health/voice. Dr. McCullough, love having you on. Always appreciate a few moments. Thanks.
Thank you.